And so I really like to just take meditative music and sit down and be quiet and bask in it. So we did a little bit of that this morning. Good morning, Unity of Payson.
Good morning.
So delighted to see all of you are here in person, and those of you who have joined us online. It's a different kind of day. This is the fifth Sunday, and this is the Sunday when many of us participate in different ways. It's going to be quite different this morning if you're online with us. Instead of our usual chair set up here, we now have tables set up with the chairs in front of them or in back of whatever it is, so that somebody may write. If you're with us online, you might want to grab a pencil and a piece of paper and have it handy, because at some point we'll ask you to use that. And you're going to be part of the participants in this fifth Sunday, you who are part of this community of Unity of Payson. But as we start, let us take just a moment to go back into that silence, back into that place where we bask in the wonder of all that is as we pray. God of all goodness, we are grateful that life is exciting. It doesn't stay static. It evolves. It emerges into something else. And we are part of that emerging as we look at it as a consciousness that's raised up a little bit. So this morning as we gather, let us be grateful for change. Let us also be grateful for those gifts, those powers that we have. The gift of wisdom in a time when we need wisdom. The gift of imagination in a time when we're creating a new us, each of us, and a new community at Unity of Payson. And we're grateful for that power, that pervasive, that all that is power of love that is resident in us, and we have the opportunity to share that love with everyone within our small world, but yet extending it to the entire of the world. Again, I'm grateful for each one who's joined us this morning. Together with each of our voices, we create the manifestation that we are becoming. We're grateful for that. And so it is. Amen. So let me give you a little idea, a little roadmap here of what's going to happen today. We don't have our usual order of service. We won't have many of the things that we see on a slide every week. They won't be here today because we're doing something different. It's great. Kind of exciting. We'll see how it goes. So stay on your toes. Don't fall asleep. Things are going to be different. If you're here, you have a piece of paper on the table. I want you to take just a moment and memorize everything. No, I'm kidding. We will use that at a little later point. We'll have some information that we'll share. I'll share, and Donna, who's with us online, will share. We've been working on some of these thoughts this week, and it all stems around who we are as a church, who we are as a community at Unity of Payson. And as we will go forward, how do we manifest that into the world? What is our purpose? What is our mission? We did a mission statement 5 years ago. That's a long time ago. And we have changed, and things are changing for us. So we're going to look at that again today. And as we look at it, we will be inspired with some new thoughts. And we're grateful for that. We also have some wonderful announcements. Our president of our board, Ed Ichek, will be one who is telling us some of the things that are coming, and that's exciting too. I just think it's a wonderful time of opportunity and I'm looking forward to it. But we're not going to leave out all the music. Jennifer just walked in the door, and if we left out the music, we'd be in trouble. So we do have an opening song in town, if you can bring that up. My soul is welcome here. If you're here in person and you can stand and you'd like to join us with that, we'll sing this opening song before we go on into the rest of our very different service this morning.
Just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I'm supposed to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome
My soul is welcome here. Thank you so much. Be seated if you're here in person. Stand or be seated if you're online. We give you a choice there. So we're going to move into a time when I'm going to share some things that are on my heart and some information that I've been gathering over the last period of time as we anticipate this time of change. If you remember, our theme for this month, remember, Ready, Set, School. Good, somebody remember that. Ready, Set, School. You know, school, when kids are going to high school, they begin to start thinking, what do I want to do? What do I want to major in if I'm going to college? Or what trade do I want to jump into and get trained for? So they're looking for direction. They may even get to the point where they're asking, well, what is my purpose really in life? So school is a time where we, start that journey where we're going. We know we're in a time of change. So we're talking about Ready, Set, School in terms of this community, Unity of Payson today. Last week, we talked about shift. How we are in a position of shift. The world around us, the stuff outside of us causes shift to happen, but we also have the opportunity to choose how that shift works within our life. Sometimes when shift happens, a lot of chaos around it. In Unity, some of you may know this, but some of you may not. There's a term that we have called chemicalization. It's like there's a chemical reaction around the time of change or moving forward or rising up. And that's a time when the moving of spirit, the direction we're taking, what we're called to do, kind of clashes with some old beliefs. And so that clash means that we're moving. Sometimes it's not something to be scared about. It's not the end of the world. It's not doomsday. It's just the clash as we begin to move forward, as that shift begin to take effect. So even here at Unity of Payson, we've had a little bit of upendedness. And that's part of the chemicalization. Things as we have done it no longer seem to be exactly the way we're going to be doing it. And some old beliefs, we might not even know what those beliefs are exactly, but they clash with the new calling, the new leading that we're having. And I think that's where we're at. So where are we going? I like the little quip I heard about a driver who had on the GPS, the Garmin or whatever, and said, "I'm lost. Where am I going?" And the Garmin got back and said, "Recalculating life choices." And isn't it so? We're recalculating our choices as a community. When you get lost in the woods, I don't know if anybody's ever done a lot of wandering in the woods, but when you get lost in the woods, what you traditionally do is go in a circle. You get lost and pretty soon you find out you're back where you started at. You're still lost, but you've just gone in that circle. And so often we do that. We get set in a pattern, but we're being startled out of that circle movement, that cycle where we go again and again. We're looking at what's ahead for us, who we are, what is ours to do. You don't start on a journey without some sense of where you're really going. Do you have an objective? Do you have a goal? Do you have a purpose? Do you have a mission that you're on? And that's what we'd like to talk about today, particularly, is the mission. What is our mission as a community, Unity of Payson, going forward? So much opportunity lays in front of us, but let's look again at the mission that's there. Of course, we know the truth that we talk about all the time, that our mission as human beings, but also divine beings, is to be a divine expression in the world, and we talk about that often. And that's a general statement. We know that the Christ that is within us, we have the opportunity to be the very best Christ that we can be. But what then for our community? Where do we go? What are the values? This is why you've got, Tom, can you put up that slide? What those of you who are with us in person have got is a list of core values. When we did this mission statement that we did 5 years ago, these are many of the core values that we considered when we did that. And these core values are what undergird our mission. They're where our mission springs from. And so I want us to take a look at that today. To be in integrity with whatever we do, whatever we plan, however we act, however we connect with our world, has to be in alignment with our values, in harmony with our values. So for those of you online, grab your pencil and paper. And no, I didn't want you to memorize all of these, but I would like you to take a look at this list of core values for Unity of Payson, some of which we've developed in the past, some of which it has come to me just to include. And we'll read through those. And don't don't talk yet, but I'm going to give you a chance to talk. What's missing there? When you think of our unity of Payson community, our unity community, what's in this list of core values that might be missing? Put that on the shelf on the side, or maybe write it down on the side. Now the easy part. There should be pencils at the table. If somebody doesn't have a writing instrument, raise your hand and we'll make sure to get one to you. Does everybody here have something to write with? You got something to write with, Claudia? Okay. So go through this list and circle the top 3 values that are important for us at Unity Payson. We're not all going to come up with the same thing. But I want you to just take a minute, and if you're with us online, if you can take and write the 3 top values that you have. Give you a little more work if you're online. Put them in the chat. Just tell us what 3 values in the chat are core values at sea for our community. I'll give you just a minute to do this. When I see everybody looking up, I'll kind of know we've gotten the circles all written. For some of you, you did it just like that. Some of you were thinking a little harder. You have 3 of them circled? Or 3 of them written out if you're online? Now, if you're here in person, I just want you, I'm going to be the interpreter for people that are online. I want you to just call up the top 1, the one that really stands out to you. What is it? Oh, about 5 people said that at the same time. I think that's a good, that's a ringer. That one's in. Somebody else, what did you,
We can't hear it.
Hearing and renewal.
Tell us what you heard.
Yeah, love came out and came from about 5 people at once. Healing and renewal just came out. Somebody else. Inspiration. Integrity. Transformation. Open-hearted. Spirit within. We could get through the whole list here. Anything else that really stands out to you? Growth. Oh, is that one on here? Oh, I didn't remember what all was on the list. Yes. Growth in row 2. Oh, okay. Let me try. Love, integrity, and community are 3 that are put there. I think that's it at the moment, but keep going. Welcoming. Oh yeah, welcoming. TJ and Ronnie. Thank you, TJ and Ronnie. Sure. Acceptance. Let me write that down. Okay. This is the resource material for us refining what our mission is as a church. Family. Write this down on your paper. If it's something that you've got that you didn't see on the paper, write it on the paper or write it in the chat. So are we done with our feedback? Okay. Now, would you, if you're here in person, pass them all to the center? Oh, put your name on it if you want to. You can be anonymous if you'd like, but put your name on if you can. And we're going to take we have a board meeting on Tuesday of this week, and our board is going to work a little bit more with these. Yeah, you want to collect them all? That'd be great. Thank you, Anne Marie. We'll get them all here. This is resource material. I want to go on to talk a little bit more about mission. Yeah, you can set them right in the front of the table there. I'll get them. Okay, beautiful. That's good. Thank you, Anne Marie. And those of you who are online or perhaps even watching this afterwards, I think most of you know my email. I'd love to hear from you. I want your input. Neil, and it's Neal, unityofpayson@gmail.com. Thank you for lending your voice to this. I have often heard the quandary that people have run into. How do I speak unity to other people outside of this community? Well, I think one of the ways that we do that is if we have a clear mission as a community. I got a hold of a book called The Growing Church recently. And that book by Tom Ballott was a number of ministers in the Unitarian Church who were part of growing ministries that were really growing. And they shared each in different chapters a topic about growing the church. But Tom Ballott did one of those chapters, and the chapter he did was mission of all things. And I was excited about that. And he talked quite a bit about mission statement that we've begun the process to refine our mission statement. And he says, do the people that sit in the chairs on Sunday morning, can they repeat your mission statement word for word? He went on to say, if they can't, you don't have one. There's something about brevity and clarity when you can share. If you're out there, and let's just take three of the things that come up. Our community is a loving, healing, and renewing community. That's a brief, and that's not the one, but that's things that we mentioned here right up at the top. If we all knew that we were a loving, healing, and renewing community, if that was our mission, we could tell somebody, this is what we do here at Unity of Payson. And they won't forget it either, if it's that simple and that direct. Let me read just a little bit from Tom Ballott in this book, The Growing Church, because he talks about a church that is mission-centric. Now, a lot of churches, maybe even including this one, are minister-centric. The minister is the key player and the looms large. I'm not sure if I'm trying to work myself out of a job here, but I think that the churches that we've seen that really grow have a clear mission. They pursue that. They make all of their decisions in alignment with that mission statement. They make all of their choices. It informs everything that they do because they know what their mission is. And here's what Tom Ballott had to say about mission-centric. Mission-centric refers to a mindset where the primary focus and guiding principle of a community is aligned with a specific mission. This means that all decisions, strategies, and actions are geared toward achieving the organization's core values and fulfilling its mission rather than being driven by secondary objectives. So you see how important knowing who we are at this point in our history knowing what our mission is as we look toward the changes and the growth that we're affirming. We've begun to work on vision, but the core piece, mission here, is so critical to us. And that's why I wanted to talk about it today. But I'm not be the only one to talk about it. Donna, our licensed Unity teacher, everybody know Donna's a licensed Unity teacher? Our licensed Unity teacher here at Unity of Payson is sharing with us as well. She's going to share about the evolving mission, the evolving nature of the mission and our mission statement as we begin to refine that and form it anew. So I'm going to turn it over to Donna. Donna's online, and if you can spotlight her, Tom, and we'll let her speak further on mission and the evolving nature of it.
Thank you, Reverend Neil. Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. All right, so one of the characteristics of a vital congregation is being mission-focused or mission-centered. And we want our congregation to be vital, don't we?
Yes.
Yes. Yes, we want to be vital. So Tom Belote says in the chapter Mission, if a religious community is like a large boat traveling across the sea, its mission is like a map of where it wants to go on the journey. Without a mission, the boat is merely adrift, susceptible to the winds and surf, and that loud static that we heard earlier on Zoom in the song. Or commandeered by whoever is the most determined to seize control of the steering wheel. Having a clear mission helps us know that we are en route to our goals. Being mission-centered is a matter of regular practice. Not only does it lift us up, but we use it whenever we are making important decisions. Decisions such as, where do we go from here? When our lease is up here, where do we go next? Why are we here, and what is our mission? Who do we serve, and how do we serve them? Those are the big questions that I'm asking us to consider today. I want to say something about the difference between a mission and a vision. A mission statement represents the perpetual goals and values and provides a foundation for decision making. It's our identity. And like Reverend Neil says, we can remember it, recite it, and recall it by heart. A vision statement tells us how we're going to get there, where we want to go. So, if we are to evolve into a mission-centric church, we need to add depth and breadth to our mission. Will you share the slide, Tom, please? Unless you want me to do it. I can do it too. This one, our evolving mission. Thanks. Thank you. So, a mission statement has a vertical dimension or a depth dimension, such as nurturing individuals' spiritual growth. And it also has a horizontal dimension, a breadth dimension. Nurturing the world's common good, for example. So we're going deep and we're going wide. And that's the cross, deep and wide, depth and breadth. So I want to talk about those two factions or factors of an evolving mission and examine it further. I see depth as in reach, going into our own soul's purpose. We do a lot of that at Unity of Payson. But I also want to talk about outreach. Who are we serving? First, we're serving our own community. And then we're serving the larger community. When we take the offering on Sunday, we always talk about these gifts go out to the larger community. Well, where do they go? And that's part of the mission, is deciding where the gifts go and why. So let's go to depth first. You know, some of you know that I'm a retired psychologist. I've worked a lot with depth, you know, finding that inner peace and helping other people to find that. So each of us in this group, in this community, is called to engage our own personal spiritual transformation. That's the depth of the mission. And my question is, how are you currently experiencing this shift? What is your depth? Where are you at with your depth right now? And how else do you want to heal? And how do you want to be transformed? I'm asking this to each of you who's listening to me right now. And I'll give you some examples off the cuff. But I'll ask you some questions also. So, example, are you less reactive? Can you find your center more easily now? Do you use a positive internal dialogue? You know, Unity teaches prayer, meditation, and affirmation. Do you use those tools? Do you use them on a daily basis? And how effective are they? Are they helping you with your own spiritual transformation? Are you more authentic and honest with yourself? Are you more accepting of changes? Do you have courage to speak your truth when it really matters? So I want to open that up. I want whoever's willing, whether you share online or whether you get the microphone and share in person, just raise your hand if you want to share where you're at with your own personal spiritual transformation. And if there's more healing that you want to experience in your life. So for me, I think that when I first found Unity, it was such a blessing for me because I remember the first time I went into a Unity church was in Atlanta, Georgia area. And it was actually in the warehouse district, and it was a gutted out warehouse. And just, you know, there was a stage, there was a dove on the back wall or the front wall where you looked at, you could see the dove, big dove. And when I first walked in, I got hugs. This was way pre-COVID. This was 1985, I'm talking, Atlanta, Georgia. And at the end of the service, we all held hands and sang the peace song and then raised up our arms like we do at the end. And everybody raised up their arms. And then during the beginning of the service, there was a meditation. And it was about walking with Jesus or talking to Jesus. But it always brought tears to my eyes. And I just felt so cleansed. Well, I only went there 4 times before my mom became ill, and I was called to go back to Long Island, where I was from, and take care of her. And so, but the point being, it was a welcoming, it was loving, and I really felt like I belonged. So when I got back to Long Island, there was no unity. And I started reading the Daily Word, and I met a woman who we would get together on Sundays and just share our blessings from the week. And this grew to 8 people, and we would break bread together after we did our sharing, and it was like a Sunday service, and we just rotated a few different homes on Sunday, and it became a very close-knit group. So that's part of my history and my story with unity, but I'm still a unitic to this day. I'm still a unitic because I felt such belonging and acceptance and equality and love. And I learned how to really fit in and be equal to everyone else. Like nobody was more or less than me. And that's something that I've kept throughout these years, that value of equality and inclusion. So that doesn't mean I'm doing wonderful. I'm not actually. I'm not doing wonderful. But I mean, change still scares me, And we're in the process of change right now, and it's like I personally feel like I could go either into mourning for what we're losing, or I could go into passion for what we can create together. And I'm hoping you can join me and we can all go with passion into something new. So anybody want to share where you're at with your own personal transformation? And then we'll move on to Brett's.
So I've got the mic here, and I'm ready to hand it off to anyone who would like to share, who has the courage to share.
Or you can raise your hand online too if you have anything you'd like to share about your own personal spiritual transformation. And why are you attending this service? What do you get from attending Sunday service at Unity of Payson? And there's no right or wrong answers here. This is just a sharing.
Okay, this is Betty, and let's see, without going into the roadmap of how I got to Unity, through Science of Mind, I recognize that not just me personally, but the world is going through huge transformation, and in my past, trust and resistance to change was a big issue, and I am so willing now to go through the process of change and see what is coming up for me personally and for the world. I'm excited about it, and that is a huge transformation for me already to trust the process.
Yes, thank you for saying trust the process. I love that. In fact, I want to make a big slide that says that, and I want to put it up on our whiteboard there. Yes.
We have Earl.
I think it's a matter of balance too. Are we a new person in here? Are we a seasoned person that's been here? I was at a conference once listening to Marianne Williamson, and she just said, there's really nothing new that is being presented. It's all reminders. And sometimes that's all we need is just the reminders. But we also have to stay diverse enough that when somebody new comes in, they don't understand the reminders. They need to know and go back to the beginning. So to me, it's sometimes we just need those little reminders and, that little push and just, oh, I haven't read that book for a while. I mean, I'm using that as an analogy. I haven't read that book for a while, and when you reread it, you read between the lines so much deeper. So
Thank you, Earl. Earl, I just want to say you have so much wisdom to share with us, and I'm so glad you're speaking right now because Earl, folks, he was one of the main starter-uppers of Payson Center for Spiritual Awareness back in 1993. And I was part of Payson Center for Spiritual Awareness because there was no unity of Payson back then. And I was active with PCSA, and they were around for 20 years. And then Unity of Payson came in. We started 2011 or so. And so you have a lot of wisdom, you have a lot of experience, Earl. I'm so glad you're with us and that you're speaking up and saying what you believe. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Earl. Who's next? Somebody else had a hand up here?
I'd like to have at least one more person share, why are you here?
Well, I'm one more person. I can do it. Anne Marie Evelyn here. I just wanted to say that my life has been historically in building Pine Haven and having Unity come up and do a lot of retreats and doing my own stuff like that. Always intentional with groups and activities and this and that. And now I see that there's been a change where not one day has gone by for a long time that I didn't find somebody that needed something for that day that I could help them with. Now I'm refining that, thanks to Donna and Neil, to say, and Anne Marie too. So I'm getting myself involved with me. So I'm kind of looking at that more closely and appreciating that. Thank you.
Thanks, Annie. I remember you had a saying years ago, help me, help me, help me. Do not ask what I can do for you, but how much more you can do for me. Remember that? That's personal spiritual transformation, personal growth.
Is there anybody else that just is bursting to share from your experience? Okay. Claudia here.
It's such a gift when you're at the depth that, it's such a gift when you're at the depth, the path opens up and it's so surprising and it's so invigorating. I was going through some courses, trying to, leading up to doing an intervention with my daughter. And one of the speakers one night said, hey, why don't you try church? You haven't tried that in ages since you've been a kid. And I thought, church? Good grief. Well, that started working on me, and I found my way to I grew up in the Dutch Reformed Church, and I found my way to the Scottsdale Presbyterian Church. That was the closest thing I could find. And the parking lot is full of Cadillacs and Mercedes. They didn't have the European and Japanese cars back in those days. And then everybody's wearing furs. And can you hear me? You're making...
Yeah, I want you to focus on you, okay? Just focus on you right now because we have limited time. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I sat in the front row and surprised. I had nothing to do with their theology, but I was so moved to tears that day. I didn't know what hit me, and it had nothing to do with Presbyterianism. It had to do with something else I couldn't define. It's as if people could find unity and religious science is where my path was. As Betty's was, but making that first step is just an amazing gift to yourself.
Thank you. The reason I'm asking us to move along is because of the time. I notice it's 10:47, and I want to talk about the cross, the breath, the reach, the outreach also. But I really invite everybody to think about this. Maybe do some journaling. Why do you attend Unity? And what is it, how is it helping you? And where do you want more transformation in your own personal life? Just for yourself, just think about it and contemplate it, so that when we come back together again and we create a new mission statement, then your beliefs, your values will be part of that and will be stronger because of it. So the breadth involves how we reach out to the larger community. Who do you want to share this message with? So for me, I think of 12-step groups, which I've been a part of. The 11th step is about daily spiritual transformation, prayer and meditation every day, and self-forgiveness. And the 12th step is about sharing our experience, strength, and hope with others. So it's built into the 12-step program, what I'm talking about, this breadth, the sharing. But it's first a change within ourselves so that we can radiate out and others can, absorb it. So who is there anyone you'd like to bring into the fold? Think about it. If you could, who would you bring in? Now you don't have to share that, but you could say maybe, I wish my sister could come in because, and then the question is why? Why? So maybe our relationship could be one of more acceptance and connection. So think about who you would bring in if you could and why. And then the next question becomes, how and where do we go out and share our unity experience with the world? How do we do that? And can we pray it forward is the question. So our theme for next month, October, will be mission, possible. Mission, possible. Thank you for listening and sharing.
So thank you, Donna. It shouldn't be the stop of your sharing. Let's continue that sharing with one another. I really look forward to you letting me know where you're at. What values are important to you? How you feel like you're being urged to share with a larger community or to share with this community. So don't stop the conversation. You know where to get a hold of me. It's an easy thing. You can do it. So please, all of you, let's continue this conversation as we move toward becoming a vital, growing church in a time of our change. What an opportunity we have. I'd like us to just take a moment to be quiet and contemplate what we've been speaking about this morning. No formal meditation, but just a time to be quiet. So take a moment. If you have a question, take that into the silence. If you have
There's no sense in what's going on.
for a few minutes. So let's just do nothing more than breathe and center ourselves, go into the quiet and contemplate. And now, just come back to this time and this place. Inspired a little bit, renewed a little bit, challenged a little bit. Grateful for the opportunity that lies before us. It is of our creation. We're collectively creating that, and we'll see it manifesting into the world. Now's the time when we usually have an offering. This is one of the ways you contribute to this community. They have very important ways that you communicate to this or contribute to this community. We are not passing an offering basket, but there's a nice big basket with lots of room in it sitting at the back over there. And if you remember, we've begun the opportunity to share surprise abundance. That which comes to us, for which we are grateful, that we share back some portion of that, and you decide that. So we'll talk more about surprise abundance. We're going to work on that throughout the year. I'm excited about it. It's happening for me, and I've heard from other people that it's happening for them. If you have some surprise abundance to share, there's little envelopes back on the welcome table. If you do that online, go to unityofpatient.org, the easiest way to donate. But just note that this is surprise abundance. You'll find that you'll see more and more of that in your life as this giving and receiving cycle inevitably goes round. We're going to move now to our time for announcements, and Tom has some slides he's going to put up as we usually do, and we'll mention them briefly, and then our board president, Ed Ichek, is going to come. Oh, he's got a wonderful announcement. Well, he probably got a few things to say, but let's just look at these slides first. Tuesday, we'll get that time right eventually. It's 3:30 to 5. Sooner or later, well, we've shifted a little bit. So 3:30 to 5, Course in Miracles. And what a great group that is. The next that we've got, Tom, is, I like that, Tom. You're working on correcting it on the spot. Book study has just begun. You can still be a part of it. Either let me or Donna know that you'd like to participate in that. Growing up in Coda, if you're,
No, that's closed now. Thank you.
Oh, I'm sorry. This is the third week, and so the group is now closed because we're kind of into it, and it's a somewhat intimate situation. But get the book and read it if you can. It's a great book. Morning Cafe, Saturday, 9:30 a.m. Come and join us. We have a great time and sometimes a lot of fun with it. And Saturday Soul Boost, I am so grateful for those who come and speak with me at that time on Saturday. It definitely is feedback that informs what I have to say on Sunday morning. So we'll look forward to seeing you at Saturday Soul Boost on Zoom. And now, is that the last one we've got? Okay, Ed Ichek, our board president, is going to share a few things with you, and we're close to the end of our service. After that, we'll do the prayer for protection and the peace song.
Good morning, everyone. Change is in the air, and you've probably been hearing some rumors, not just listening to rumors. I mean, that's the Fleetwood Mac album. We're not going there. We're talking about rumors of the change, and we are moving our location. So a little history to this. Was it September 1st? You got the letter from the Methodist Church here that they wanted this room back. Now, they offered us another space in the campus in here, but there were some things tied to that, some more money. We couldn't have our service at 10 like we have when they're having their service. We couldn't have our service. And what was the other thing about it? That they wanted us to sign an agreement for 1 year. So Neil and other board members and other members went out looking what else is available in this community. And lo and behold, they found the Payson Golf Course is offering us a space, a room. We can have our service anytime we want to on Sunday. And we have to come up with a storage unit, which is to be designated yet what that's going to be. And on top of that, it's free for the next 6 months because they're kind of going into their downtime, and they're letting us have it for 6 months. So, hey, not bad, a good offer. Before I go any further, we should all thank UMC for letting us have this space. They're wonderful, and even though we're not moving to the other thing and they want us back, we got to be very grateful and thankful to them for letting us be here. We've been here a year, almost 2 years. So okay, so we have some slides. You putting something up on the slide? Not yet. Oh, okay. Okay. So I just want to talk about it. We're talking about change. We're talking about the moving, and Donna just mentioned how you get in a comfort zone with a place, and when change comes up, it can be fearful or uncomfortable or putting you out of your comfort zone. But Neil's been using a word, and this is, I think, the word we ought to be thinking and going with is opportunity. This is an opportunity for Unity to become something a little bit different. And we already have started making a few changes in our mission statement, in our blessing greeting. And so moving here out of this comfort zone, let's just look at it as an opportunity to change and to be a little bit something different, a little bit something else. We don't know exactly what it's going to be. But I think we all just have to keep it in our heart that this is good for us. This is a good move, and I think it's going to help us grow. So now back to the nuts and bolts things here. So beginning November, Sunday services are going to be at the Payson Golf Club. Our last Sunday here is going to be next month, the 27th, about 30 days from now. Signs will be outside directing us. I believe we get the parking space and the dirt lot, not the pavement lot, if that helps us at all. I have not even seen this room yet. Other board members and Neil have been over there and have been negotiating this whole deal and everything else. But there's plenty of parking over there. And so this is an exciting time of change and renewal. We covet your support at this time in any way you can offer it. And it's an exciting prospect coinciding with changes on the board, which will be some other announcements coming in the future. So that's about it. Let's not be fearful of the change. We can put all this stuff in the back of my pickup truck. And let's see, Betty and Anne-Marie can be like the Beverly Hillbillies. You can be Granny and Ellie in the back. Neil and I will be Jed and Jethro in my truck, and we'll truck it all over to the Payson Golf Course. Thank you very much.
I echo what Ed had to say. We are so grateful to Payson United Methodist Church for having given us this space for a period of time. And we're grateful also to Payson Golf Course, who has just really worked with us and offered us this opportunity. And it's going to be a really nice space. And Anne-Marie has a question. Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you've not been there, it is a beautiful atmosphere, as Anne-Marie has highlighted. Thank you so much. Well, we're going to close the service. We'll stand here in person and the prayer for protection. And if you want to get around in some kind of a circle, go ahead and do it. And then we'll sing the peace song to close the service. And thank you so much for being here. Well, pretty good. There we go. Together, the prayer for protection. Here we go. The light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. And the presence of God watches over us. I am presence wherever we are. God is, and all is well. Thank you so much. Peace song and little snacks here in person to socialize. If you're online, just hang on for a minute. I'd love to greet you when we're complete.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be. With God as creator, family only. Now we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me, and this is the one. With every step I take, this is a joyous path. I take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
Thank you so much for being here, lending your voice and your energy. And if we can have yeah, there we go. Our gallery view. Kay Butler and Kat. Is this the new kitten? No, not the new kitten. There's a new kitten. So I'm going to move on to Frosty. Frosty, oh, you are so much the heart of this community. You and Marianne, who's right beneath you on the grid. I can't wait to see you all, and I think we're going to get to see you pretty soon. So, and Bobby, I think we may see you soon too, and probably John lurking around the corner, and TJ and Roni. Nice, nice to have you here today, and thank you for that contribution to our our discussion as we were having here. Thank you all. Bless you, and we'll see you again soon.